Okay, so today it's gonna be an interesting video that I didn't think I was gonna be doing, but someone in the comments asked for it, and this made me actually put some thought into this. But an endgame minion guide. Now, in my opinion, I don't believe in a thing as an endgame minion, aside from, let's say, the Slayer minions, because once you're an endgame player, you should just be focusing on which minions give you the most money rather than just endgame minions, I guess. So let's look at the endgame minions. We have, of course, the Slayer minions. So that would mean we have Tarantulas, we have Revs, we have Inferno and Voidling, which I do not have. But that's pretty much it. These are the four endgame minions. I mean, if you want to say some of these harder minions to get, like Flower Minion, sure. But mainly just those four. And what this person asked was for an AFK setup. So we're gonna look at them. So Inferno and Voidling. I haven't seen a Voidling setup so far, so I'm just gonna rule that out. For Inferno, I'm not too sure how good it is because, well, I don't have it. Tarantulas has been like known to be the best minions. The problem is the cost. I mean, look at this thing. You need a tier 10 and 7 stacks of Tarantula soap, which is 10 mil each. 10 mil each stack. And you still have to have a tier 10, and a tier 10's half a stack. Then you need a tier 9, which is a fourth. Then it just keeps getting cheaper from there. But still, this is expensive, especially if you want a max minion setup, which means, let's just say 30. So if you want 30 minions, that's going to be very expensive, and it's going to take forever to pay off. But of course, if you're an endgame player, you just want to burn some money, then sure, go ahead, do Tarantulas. Revenant Minion is also an option, which is what that person said he had. I don't think it's that bad of an option. Let me read specifically what he said, because he did tell me how much he was making. So, 29 minions, he makes around 5 mil a day per so. So, 5 mil a day, that's not a lot for 29 minions. And if he's talking about an AFK setup, then that's really not worth it. 5 mil a day. Slimes can make way more. Tarantulas, they can make way more. Inferno minions, not too sure, but I'm pretty sure they can make way more. Because I have AFK'd Blaze before, and I think they are similar, but with like extra drops, I guess. So if I go to the bazaar, look at Blaze prices. Now this is pretty good. But the problem is, I don't know how much they drop. I don't know what's worth it or not. So that's the only thing. I know they're pretty expensive. Same thing with Voidling. I don't know an interesting setup for it. Like, I don't know if I can use this, which I probably can. All I have to do is remove the water, just make this a full box, and just have them fall, I guess. As long as the minions don't kill them themselves, it should be fine for an AFK setup. But at the same time, I'm about to disconnect, aren't I? Yeah, this has been happening a lot recently. I've been disconnecting randomly. So just bear with it. It might be happening for this video, next video, or even possibly sometime next week as well. Don't worry about it. But it will affect my AFKing since I won't be able to online AFK for too long. But back to the minions. There really isn't a thing as an endgame minion that is really good because slimes, they're cheap. 3 to 4 million to make each for tier 11, I think. And you make this much money. I mean, 65 mil in the purse. We have 3.2 mil in each minion, so that's 28. That's a lot of money. And in the bazaar from my online AFK sessions, 65 mil. That's a lot of money. And the ones in the minions, those are offline AFK money. So if we do 3.2 mil, 3.2 mil times 28, that's almost 90 million coins from doing nothing. Literally not even being online, you're making 90 million coins. Plus the 65 mil I have in my purse from the Thorns damage and the Witherborn. Right there. And my slime drops, which is another 65 mil. So that's a lot of money. And tarantulas, of course, they can make that much. You just need them to be year 11. You need to have like flycatchers and stuff. Maybe some corrupt soil can help with supporting money. Because honestly, if you're using a Witherborn setup, anything like lower than 6 seconds is a waste. It really is a waste. And a hamster wheel for slime minions is honestly perfect. Go here, hamster wheel, and we put it. So 6.7 seconds. It could go a bit lower, but 6.7 seconds is not bad. So I'm getting pretty much the max amount of time I can get since Witherborn activates every 30 seconds. So anything lower than 6 seconds is a waste. So for tarantulas, I believe they are faster. I'm not sure. Let me figure that out actually. Here 11, 10 seconds. We go to slimes, 12 seconds. So tarantulas are faster, which makes a difference because you are gonna for sure be about 6 seconds. So you really don't have to worry about it. Just have a flycatcher and hamster wheel, I guess. And hamster wheels, I still think they are the best fuel, at least value-wise, because you are gonna make your money back for sure. And where did I put that hamster wheel? I don't know which side I put the hamster wheel in, but the hamster wheel is only 25k a piece, and they last a full day, and I believe they do 50% as well, right? Is that a fact? It is. Increase the speed of your minion by 50% for 24 hours. So if you put a full stack, it's literally, you get a 50% boost for 2 months. If you do Foul Flush, which I tried myself, it only lasts for so long. And sure, it's 90%, it's a lot better. But if the time was about 12 hours instead of 5 hours, I would have like used it more. But since it's only 5 hours for 90%, I don't think it's really that worth it. Only if you want like short term, I guess. But 2 months of 50% is plenty of time for you not to worry about anything. I would have had more if I decided to put more fuel, but let me be honest, I was pretty lazy to buy fuel. So that's my own fault. So for the minions, I would say just use tarantulas if you want an endgame kind of setup. Just tier 11 tarantulas, flycatcher, um, what's it called? Sulfur, what's this thing called? Corrupt soil, and um, enchanted hoppers. I've used enchanted hoppers for my old tarantula farm, and I've seen this go up to 5 mil. So that's a lot of money for not doing anything. So if you want a full endgame kind of setup, then use Tarantula. If you want to save money, then use slimes. The thing that I like more about slimes over tarantulas or just any other AFK minion is how fast they can pay themselves off. Like I said, each minion costs about 3, maybe 4 mil, depending on how prices are and how you buy it, I guess. So 3 to 4 mil compared to like, I don't even know how much a full Tarantula minion setup would cost. I don't even know how much one tier 11 would cost if you go from tier 1. Like right here, this is already 70 mil. Yeah, 70 mil. And this 70 million coins, you can have a full slime setup already. You can have all tier 11 slimes with that 70 mil. I believe. Right? Let's do 4 mil times 28. Never mind, you will not have a full slime setup, but you will have most of it done. So, value-wise, I think slimes are way better. They still make a ton of money, and you'll be profiting after like 2, maybe 3, latest maybe 4 days. Whereas for tarantulas, you're gonna be profiting after like months, depending on how well you AFK, how much you AFK, and if you get kicked or not, because online AFKing is a lot better. So, depending on your AFK luck, it can take a long time for tarantulas to actually start profiting, because the second you make a full tier 11 tarantula setup, they still have to pay themselves. They need to make it worth it by paying themselves off, by making the money you spent to make it. And slimes, they've done that for me like a long time ago. Everything now is profit. Tarantulas, they're gonna take a long time before you even start profiting. So value-wise, go for slime. If you want, I guess, an endgame flex setup, I guess, then I guess go for tarantulas. I won't stop you. But this is just my perspective on this. Of course, there are other setups. Somehow you can probably make revs better. You can probably use Inferno as well. Sheep is probably a good option as well. I've used sheep and honestly, pretty good. What else is decent around here? Honestly, if you want a cheaper alternative to Tarantula, I guess Spider Minion. Um, Blaze Minion, I tried it honestly, not as good as I wanted it to be, but as you can see, I only went up to tier 8. I don't know why I had a hard time saying that, but I only went up to tier 8. So I'm not too sure. I've heard Rabbit was pretty good. Not too sure. But yeah, there are plenty of options. But for an endgame, if you want like strictly endgame, I guess you can go for tarantulas. But if you want an endgame setup while I guess on a budget and you can start profiting very early, then go for slimes. But that's just my view on this. I'm not too sure what he wanted from me, what he wanted me to answer, but this is what I think an endgame setup would look like. I mean, I'm using it. A lot of other players are using it. So it must be pretty good for an endgame player, right? But let me know your thoughts, because this was a topic that like I had to think about and honestly never came up with a perfect answer, I guess. So let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.